afternoon. It is 2 o'clock Pacific time here on the West Coast. I always like to say what time it is because I know sometimes it's hard to tell if you're watching a live or a replay of a live. I know that often happens in the world today. So this is live. It is 2 p.m. Pacific time here in California on this Monday afternoon here on Beadaholique. And we're also streaming to Facebook and YouTube as well. So wherever you are tuning in from, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be doing a show about bezels. So bezels are awesome. Let me show you one real quick if you're not familiar. So this is a little bezel cup. So sometimes they have one loop, sometimes they've got two. It can all kind of vary, and they vary sizes and shapes, but they're really fun to work with. Oh, and hello, Monica from Rhode Island, and Monique, hello. Thaisa's here as well helping us, and Karen, hello. Christina, hello. Oh, and Francie. So we always have fun here, and I love it that we see, I always want to say familiar faces, but familiar names and friends, because we come together and we create and we share our design ideas as well, which is so much fun. Hello, Lisa and Tanya and Jane and Dee and Fern and Linda. Hello, everybody. So I am kind of going back to my roots with this show. So I started my jewelry making journey as kind of more of a mixed media jewelry artisan. And I did a lot of resin. I worked with a lot of bezels. I took like antique pieces and reconfigured them and steampunky and gears and everything like that. So this is kind of how I started, is by working with bezels. And I'm really excited that I found a bunch on the Beadaholique website, and we're gonna do a pair of earrings with them. I'm also gonna be sharing a lot of other ideas. Hello, Santa Barbara girl, and Big Easy Mama, hello. I saw a bunch of other names pop up. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to catch everybody. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Twix is sleeping under the bed. Thank you for asking. We'll see if she comes and joins us. Okay, and Pat and Connie, hello. So yeah, a bezel is great because you can fill it. Now you can fill it with beads, you can fill it with images, you can fill it with resin, you can do all sorts of different things with it. It's really fun to work with. I'm going to show you a couple different methods here, and then we can always talk about others. I don't have resin to work with here. If you do have any questions about resin, though, feel free to ask me, because these bezels would be great for resin. I just don't have any resin here to do like a resin show, because Beadaholique doesn't have any resin on their website. So I don't have any to work with, but feel free to ask me questions if that's something that's of interest to you. I've worked with resin for, oh my gosh, 16 years now, 17 years. So I've worked with a lot of resin, so I can answer questions about that. So if you want to, learn more about that, feel free to ask those questions. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Small amount of resin suggestions. Yeah, so there are definitely, you can buy the big tubs of resin. I don't recommend starting there. I would start with like the 4 ounce. You can probably Google it. I know that resins seem to come and go in terms of their supply chain. So sometimes the resin that you really like is not available a couple years later. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. But small batches, I usually do one of those little medicine cups. That's the amount I mix at a time if I am doing resin. So it's just that little medicine cup. It's like 15 ounces, or not ounces, 15 milligrams. It's a little medicine cup size. 15 to 20 milligrams, it's like 1 ounce. That's what I tend to do when I am doing resin. But I'm going to show you how to use these bezels without resin. We're going to be using some sticky wallpaper, peel and stick wallpaper, and it's actually the wallpaper from my closet. And then we're also going to be using some Mod Podge with some pretty scrapbook paper as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Yes, resin definitely does expire. It only has a lifespan of about 6 months. And when it starts to turn yellow, that means it's turned. So that's something to keep in mind. Resin, at least for the jewelry making resin, should be clear, maybe a tinge of yellow, but pretty much clear. And when you start to see it turn almost like a honey color, then it has expired. So it really doesn't last very long. So if you are going to do resin jewelry making, I would say buy the smaller containers, just so you don't have to worry about that, because it might take a long time to go through the big containers of resin. So, but feel free to ask questions away here. I'll try to catch as many as I can. And then Thaisa will be able to help answer some as well. But I've got some beautiful bezels to show you. And although I haven't poured these particular bezels, I'm looking at them from my past knowledge, and I think that these are going to take resin really well because they have a blunt edge. So that's one thing I found worked really well with my pours, is when it had a nice, clean, sharp edge, it seemed to keep the resin in and allow you to dome it a little bit too. So I like these bezels a lot. All right, I'm gonna flip my camera down in just a few minutes. Let me show you actually a sneak peek of what we're gonna look at today. So here was this bezel right here, and this is what I turned it into. So that is the earring I created with that little bezel. And then here's another one as well, right here. So they're really fun to work with. I added beads, I added wallpaper, I added scrapbook paper, I hung little dangles. You can do so much with these. Yes, I always wear a mask when I do my resin. I actually have one of those like industrial masks with the canisters on the side. So when I do my resin pours, I do them in my garage with the garage door open for ventilation, and I have a mask on. So I always take a lot of precautions with resin. Great question. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna flip my camera down so we can really see what we're talking about here. Same thing as normal for all these different shows. If you are new to us, welcome. We're here, we're live. We're on Beadaholique. Beadaholique is going through their closing sale, so everything is 40% off. But we're gonna still do these videos as long as we can, and then even after we close, these videos will still be available on YouTube. So these archive videos, all these projects are still gonna be available. So just kind of, that's a nice thing to keep in mind, is you'll always be able to go back and rewatch, but you can take advantage of the 40% off right now, because these bezels are an amazing price as well. I'm used to paying like $4 or $5 a bezel. I think you're getting these in like sets of 12 for like $5.99 after that discount. So that's really good. Yes, big easy mama, lungs are very important. I agree. Yeah, so always work in a well-ventilated area if you're doing resin. Wear a mask, wear gloves. Just take the precautions. It's listed usually on the bottles of resin. It'll tell you all of that. Just follow those directions that the manufacturer sets forth is the best recommendation. Let me see. 3 tables in our house have been resin tops. Oh, that my husband made. Oh, that's awesome, Ruby. Yeah, you could do gorgeous. I've seen like the resin tabletops. They're so beautiful. I love that. And then let's see what else. If anyone has any questions, post them here in the comments section. If you like what you see, there's the heart, there's the share arrow, and of course the important shopping bag, which is you just click on that and you see everything we're going to use, the beads, the tools, their bezels, and I'll let you know if there's anything I'm using that's not part of what we have. There's a couple things like a paintbrush, some Mod Podge. I'll let you know if it's something we don't carry and where you can find it. All right, guys, let's flip the camera down and we'll play. We're gonna play, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so let me show you what I made first. And actually, it's kind of a fun story. I got my job with Beadaholique back in 2011 because I knew how to do resin, and I was wearing some resin bezel cup earrings that I had made. And the owner of Beadaholique said, oh, you know how to do resin? And she liked the earrings, and it was just kind of all came together. So that was pretty fun. It was a little pair of resin bezel cups with a little bee put inside of them, because you can put charms inside your bezel cups too. So that's kind of fun. So let's look at what I made and what we're gonna be making. So we're gonna make this earring here. So here is a bezel cup. So you see what the back of it looks like. So it's got the 2 loops, which is fun. So super easy, it's like a link. Now you could also make this a bracelet link, or you could put this into a necklace. And what I did, and you're gonna see this here in a second, this is actually peel and stick wallpaper. And if you are into DIY, you probably know that there are a ton of peel and stick wallpaper choices out there. And they're relatively inexpensive, most of them. And they come in beautiful patterns. And so this is actually the wallpaper that is lining my coat closet. It's a William Morris pattern, or created after a William Morris pattern. And I just used that for these earrings right here. And then I did a little bellflower, a little dangle, and they came together really nicely. I also did this little one with a larger piece from that same wallpaper. Oh, I can totally see that. It looks like a tiger. Yes. So this is also another bezel cup here. Those are my fingerprints. And I did a little beaded surround. I'm going to show you how to do the little beaded surround here as well. And that's just that wallpaper. So that's something fun to look at. Now there's also, of course, and let me pull this out, a million different pieces of scrapbook paper. And so I have a set here of just all these different scrapbook papers. And of course you can buy them individually or in a set. And you can then use them in combination with Mod Podge, which is pretty readily available. I actually got this at the dollar store, so this was $1. And then I will show you how to do this with Mod Podge as well as the peel and stick wallpaper. So I'm going to show you. Now for the Mod Podge one, this is what I made. So it's that same bezel cup, but it's actually in an antique copper. And you see I did a little dangle as well. And then in here I put a prestige crystal flatback. So I did the beaded surround and a prestige crystal flatback. And here is what this set looks like. So it's really creating a very different earring than what you would be able to create if you didn't have the little bezel setting. So this is this little earring right here. Yeah, so you can do this with the peel and stick. So this is, I think it's vinyl. This is peel and stick wallpaper. And I'm going to show you how to do it with it. So this comes in a wide variety of different patterns. This is just peel and stick paper. So we're going to do it with this. And then I'm also going to show you how to do it with scrapbook paper as well. That has a longer dry time. So we'll work the peel and stick one up into a full earring. And then I will show you, though, how to do the Mod Podge with the scrapbooking paper as well. So let me show you the bezels we're talking about. And this is just a sampling of what is on the Beadaholique website. So I have them right here. So this is cool. Is it possible to hang a bezel? I think that's pendant from a beaded necklace. Oh, I'm not sure if hitting the beads is okay. Hiding the beads is okay. You can definitely hang this from a beaded necklace. Absolutely. Pendant. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Lee, I was going to guess it was pendant. Yeah, you can definitely combine these with beaded necklaces. Absolutely. You can play off the different colors on the beaded necklace. You can add some of the same beads into the bezels. So you see these come in different sizes. Again, this one is a link. I'm going to try to just make it so we can see this. So you see there's the bezel cup. And there's the back, and these come in different sizes. So here's this antique copper. Then here's this, like the smaller antique copper. So I think this one is the 15 millimeter size. And I know Thais popping up banners here as we go, but you see they come in different sizes. Triple thick glaze. Karen, I haven't used triple thick glaze, but I'm gonna guess it probably would work. I'm gonna guess if it is a type of glaze or a Mod Podge or like a resiny type thing, it should work fine on these. I know there's a lot of different glazes out there. Basically what you're needing to do is you're needing to adhere your paper, and then you're needing, if it's not already sealed, like this is like already sealed. You see how this has like a somewhat shiny top coat? This is already meant to be like stain and water resistant. If it's not, you need a way of sealing it. And so the Mod Podge is particularly good because you can use it as the glue to glue it on and the top coat sealant as well. So here you go. So you've got different sizes. I'm just going to show you the ones I picked out because I try to pick out a variety. So here's just a pendant. So it doesn't have the bottom loop. And then it's got a top side loop. So that's handy if you're doing like ball chain or a chain that you just want to slide right through it. You don't need to add another jump ring, so that's a nice size. And I think all of these come in sets of 12, if I'm not mistaken, and they're very, very reasonable. I was really pleasantly surprised at the good price of these. Very good. So Santa Barbara Girl is saying the diamond glaze does that as well. That's really good. Yes, you can use these as a bracelet. So what you could do is this could definitely be a beautiful bracelet focal. I think both sizes would work really well. So if you're thinking it for a bracelet, just pick out one with the 2 loops on it. And that is a great tip of Santa Barbara girls. Just make sure that you dry your layers well, for sure. Anytime you're working with like a glue, a glaze, a resin, a paint, just make sure you allow time to have your layers dry. Mod Podge, does it yellow or crack over time? I have not had that experience with it. So I feel like it's looked pretty good. If anyone else has had more experience with Mod Podge, I've used it over the years off and on, and I haven't noticed any issues, but I am also not a person who uses Mod Podge all the time. So if you have any tips, if anyone in the community here wants to share their experiences, that would be really great. And Mod Podge is just one option. I think there's other sealants, other glazes, other glues. The diamond glaze was a good recommendation as well. That's always a good one. So definitely lots of different things you can use for this application. All right, here was that bezel that we did the pendant out of. So this became this. All right, so you see this one here became this guy. It's got a really nice back. So here we go. Oh, and Leah is saying I use a DuraClear. Doesn't seem to yellow. Okay, perfect. That's a great recommendation, DuraClear. Wonderful, yeah. So definitely find what you like working with. I know I used to work with a glaze that got discontinued, so then I had to really search out for a new one. So it's sometimes a little challenging, but you can kind of go from there and experiment and play. Certain Mod Podge does shine, absolutely. So there is Mod Podge, and this is the gloss luster. It also comes in a matte. So if you want more of a matte finish, Mod Podge does come in a matte. And then at least my peel and stick wallpaper has just a little shine, but not too much. Yep, you could definitely put a design on both sides. So one side has the bezel. So you see the bezel has the indent here, and it has a flat backside. You could absolutely put a design here, and then you could put a design here too. This is going to be the one that lets you do a little bit more mixed media. If you want to put like a embellishment in here, a metal stamping, a piece of filigree, if you want to put some beads, because it's got that nice lip. So that's going to let you do a little bit more mixed media, but you can absolutely do something here. Another thing that looks really cool is if you paint it. You could paint it like black, and you could put gold things on top of it. You can do a lot. So you can paint in these, lots of options. And like I said, they do come in different sizes, different finishes. I'm just going to hold some of these up. Yeah, they're pretty inspiring. And, you know, I was even thinking what you could do is like gift tags and fun things like that too. Yeah, so here's the hole is going this way. So like for the holidays, like even like napkin rings with people's names on it, you could customize. You could go onto your computer, print out their names, do things like that. So you see these just come in a bunch of different sizes, different shapes. Some are links, some are pendants. So they're all there in that shopping bag. And then I believe there's even several more on the Beadaholique website. Okay, so I've talked a lot about these bezels, and I think we should start playing. Do they have bezels in other shapes? Ooh, like flowers or leaves. I don't know of any flower or leaf ones, but there are other bezels on the Beadaholique website. These were the ones that were these like really cool value packs that I stumbled upon and was excited by, because this is also really fun. If you're making and selling jewelry or experimenting and having fun, they're a great value even to begin with. And then with the 40% off, they're really a good value. But there are other bezels on the Beadaholique website too. All right. Oh yes, purse charms. That would be fun. Karen, maybe Thaisa can see if there are any silver bezels and she can add them to the shopping bag. That would be awesome. Okay, guys, let's play. So a tip, hole punches. If you really get into bezels, there are a ton of hole punches out there. This is a 1/2 inch one. So I have this 15 millimeter bezel. I'm going to use the 1/2 inch one. It's going to be a little bit small, but the area that it gaps is on the interior of the rim, and I'm gonna cover that with beads anyway. So it makes life a lot easier if you have a hole punch. If you don't have a hole punch, I wanna show you real quick what you would do. If you don't have a hole punch, let's say like for this one, I didn't have a hole punch. You're just gonna take your pen and your paper. So you're gonna take your paper. You're gonna be like, oh, I like these flowers. Let's say we like those flowers. You're just gonna put your bezel down on top of them. And you're just so easy. You're just gonna go around with a pen, make your round shape here, and you're just gonna cut it out. So that's gonna be really, it's not hard to do. So you do that for any of your shapes if you don't have a hole punch. Because we have a hole punch, it does make life a little bit easier. Like I said, this is just a 1/2 inch hole punch. And what paper did I use? I think I used this paper. I like it, Santa Barbara girl. So this was this paper. Yeah, I'll show you the set I have for these papers. I don't know if this is made anymore. This is what I was using it from. My mom gave me this, and I thought, oh, that was a really pretty like scrapbook set. But I know there's gorgeous papers out there. So if you have a hole punch, you can go ahead and just do this, where you can look through the punch and find the part of the design that you want. Punch it, and then it just comes out. And we're gonna do the Mod Podge first because it has to be done in 2 different steps. So I'm gonna show you how to do the Mod Podge part right now. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're actually going to recreate this entire earring in the show here. So I'm gonna show you how to do the Mod Podge. So I have a paintbrush. All right, great, Santa Barbara girl. We have a new use for your paper. I know, I think a lot of us creatives love buying all the different artistic things out there in the world. So it's really fun when you find a new use for them. All right, let me get a baggie. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the Mod Podge down onto a baggie. Just gonna get a little out of here. And that was a lot. I definitely did not need that much. Okay, so I am going to just take my bezel cup and I am going to put the Mod Podge in the bezel cup, going all the way to the edges. Let me try to adjust my lighting a little bit, guys. See if we can see that a little bit better. All right, so this is if you have scrapbooking paper or something that you need to like glue on here. So you just wanna make sure you go to all the edges, and then you're gonna pick up your piece of paper, whether you hole punched it or cut it out, and you're gonna set it down into your bezel cup with the image facing however you like. And you can kind of push it and rotate it while it's in there. So you see, and that Mod Podge is white because it hasn't dried yet. Oh, I love that. Santa Barbara, you started in jewelry, went to stamping, and back to jewelry. I love it. Oh, you could do stamps on here too. You could do like this beautiful paper and then stamp it and then seal it. I love it, Big Easy Mama. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside for right now. And actually I kind of want that to be facing up a little. It might be a little late to twist it. Okay, so that's if you do Mod Podge. Now you set this aside to completely dry. So I'm just gonna take this, set it aside. I'm actually gonna stick my paintbrush inside my Ziploc so I don't have to wash it twice here. All right, so that is one way. The other way is with this paper. So there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of beautiful papers out there. This is peel and stick wallpaper. I'm gonna cut myself just a little section here. Okay, and where's that hole punch? Where did it go? Okay. Oh, I love that, Randy. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh, she says she's done this with the fingerprints of her grandsons. And oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so here again, with the hole punch, we can look at it. So I can get like the edge of that flower. I can get the center of the flower. I can do whatever I want. I could get some leaves So you can do lots of different things here. I kind of like the little bit of the flower on the side, and I'm just going to punch it. And there it is. And then I'm going to grab one of the antique brass bezel cups here. I think I'm holding this a little higher than I normally do, so I'm going to see if I can adjust my lighting just a little bit here so we can see this a little bit better. Hopefully that helps. Oh, hopefully, yes, that is better. Good, at least for me it is. Okay, so I've got this now, and it is basically a sticker. So we're just going to take the peel and stick back off, and this is like a really nice thick like vinyl because it's peel and stick wallpaper. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to hold it upright and stick into my hand. You can see this, and I'm going to go right in here. Oh my gosh, I love reading the comments right now. Okay, and then we're going to stick it in. And like I said, my hole punch is a little bit small. The 1/2 inch hole punch is a little bit small. But look, the only gap is around the edge, and we're going to fill that in with beads. So there, I just pressed it into place, and that's ready to go. Because also what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting glue around the outer edge here for our beads. So that's going to help secure it as well. So peel and stick wallpaper is very easy to work with. All right, so we've got that. Now I want to add a surround of beads here. So see here, we've got this surround of beads. So I'm going to be using size 11-0 Toho round. See, a new use for our beads. We're always finding new things to do. And then I've got these really pretty 2mm check fire polish as well, in this kind of like rust orange. These come in a ton of colors, so you can definitely match it to your project or your paper. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna spill some out, and it's gonna be the exact same technique if you are doing it just with seed beads like you see here and here. So same exact technique that we're gonna do right now. So we are going to take some 1G thread, and we're just gonna cut ourselves like 12 inches. 12, 13 inches, just enough so you can put beads on there and they don't really fall off on you and you're not frustrated. I know I'm in love with the fingerprint idea as well. That's so special and beautiful. And then it's preserved. It's there forever. Oh, I could totally see that these remind you of lockets. Yes. Yeah, there was that whole locket trend for a very long time, I feel like. It was all about lockets and what to put in them. It was fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take our needle and place it onto our thread. And I believe this is a 10 needle I'm using. I mean, it's just whatever needle you normally use for your beadwork. So I just have that on. Now, if you want, you can put a bead stopper on here, or you can just let it be loose and just make sure it doesn't fall off. So what I'm going to do now is, I believe when I did these before, I figured out we needed a total of 9 of the fire polish, and I'm just putting a Toho round in between them. Oh yeah, that would work, Melissa. She's saying, how about clear glass decor flat back beads that would then magnify an image? Absolutely, that would work absolutely very well. So if someone's not familiar what she's talking about, you can buy like these clear glass cabochons basically, and they fit on top of your image in the bezel. And so it becomes like a glass dome, and then it magnifies your image. It looks super cool. So those definitely will work as well. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a 2mm fire polish, followed by a seed bead, another fire polish, and I'm just going to repeat this pattern until I have 9 fire polishes on here, because I have done this before, so I counted. Let me just put a few more out. Yeah, this is a really fun like mixed media project. I mean, you can even the sky is the limit. So you could put metal stampings in there. I've done gears, like old watch parts. I've done old pieces to pens. You can make, print images on your computer and shrink them down. You can put people's names in there, letter initials. You can take charms, cut off the loop of the charm, like a nice little plated charm, cut off the loop and make that into like a little focal stamping. So lots and lots of things you could do with this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then I'm going to scoot it down, but I'm holding on to the tail. 7, 8. And then in my case here, I realized that I needed for it to fit correctly to have 2 of these fire polishes together. Okay, so this is what I've got, and I'm going to just double count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But I need a seed bead in here because I put 2 together and I should have put a seed bead. All right, let me just take off the last one. Always good to double check your counting before you tie. Okay, I need 1 more seed bead in there and then the last one. Okay, so this is what we've got on our thread. And this is to make the beaded surround in our bezel. And this will be on replay. So this video will be saved if anyone wants to go back and rewatch how to do this. So I'll tell you what I first attempted and what I ended up with. I thought it would be really easy to bring it together and tie a knot. It was really wiggly and I got really frustrated. So I'm going to do a little something different. You could just bring your 2 strings together and try to tie a knot. I found because it's so thin and wiggly, it kept kind of doing this on me and the beads were going everywhere and it was kind of getting to me. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back through some of my beads with my needle and I'm going to be gluing all these beads in place anyways. So I'm just going to go through some of them here. Oh, hello, Debbie. Okay, and when you go through some of them and you pull it together, you get a loop. You get a nice loop. Now, you can go through even more. You can also, at this point, tie some knots if you would like. Whatever you are comfortable with. I feel pretty comfortable. I'm going to be using E6000 glue, and I'm going to be gluing all these beads into place, so I really don't feel like I need a knot. What I basically needed for this part of the process, excuse me, was a way of making a nice clean surround, like a little beaded ring essentially of my beads that are going to go into my bezel. Oh no. Okay, Santa Barbara girl, yes, that thought occurred to me to begin with too. And then I was like, there has to be a better way. Here, let me take a sip of my coffee real quick. Yeah, and you can try just knotting them and not going back through them, but I found that to be pretty frustrating too. Okay, so once you've got this, just double check that it fits in here before you put the glue in, especially if you're doing one of the other size bezels than the one that I'm showing. So just, I will tell you that if you're just doing pure 11-0 Toho rounds, it's 21. You'll need 21 11-0 Toho rounds if you're just doing the pure rounds and not mixing in the fire polish. Okay, so basically take this, drop it into your bezel, and just make sure it fits just before you actually put down the glue. If you're happy with what it looks like, we are going to take a little E6000 glue and a toothpick. There was a toothpick here a minute ago. I'm probably just not seeing it, or it fell on the floor. Let's see. Okay, does anyone see the little wooden toothpick here? Well, here, I know what we'll do. We're just going to use a head pin. Okay, so I'm going to sacrifice a head pin because I can't find my toothpick. But you could definitely just use, oh, here it is. Yay. Okay, toothpick found. So pretty easy supplies. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take another little plastic baggie. These little plastic baggies are great. Twix is wonderful. Thank you, Lydia. She is sleeping under the bed right now, but she is the best baby girl. I cannot believe it. She has just become part of this family, and she's adjusted so well. And I feel like we've adjusted so well, and the kids have adjusted. It's just amazing. Okay, so we're gonna put some E6000 down. And E6000 does dry relatively quickly, so you will wanna work as soon as you put it down. And I'm just gonna put it on my toothpick, and I'm gonna go around the interior inside of this bezel. And it will dry clear. And I'm just gonna keep putting it on the interior bezel. And just make sure that it gets everywhere. I don't want like a big gap because I'm not, you know, those beads they'll have an interior thread in them, but they're not like knotted and secure in that way. So I do want to make sure that every bit of this interior bezel has a little bit of glue. And once you're happy with it, you'll want to immediately set your ring down into it. So I'm just going to pick up my ring. And in this case, I do have 2 fire polishes together because that's what was needed to fit. They don't bother me. I'm not too concerned with where those 2 end up, but if you are, you can plan where you want them. Okay, just set it down in there. And then with the dry side of your toothpick or a separate toothpick, just press them into place by kind of scooting them towards the bezel edge. So you see, I'm just going in here, making sure that they're sitting down in there, and I'm pressing them into the edge. And this actually is even more important if you're just using all 11 O's, because I noticed that they look out of sorts when you first put it in, and then when you do this little tidying up, this little touch up, they really just go in and look very nice. So that is done. So that is completely done. We're just gonna let that dry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that dry, and when it's dry, I'm just going to snip those thread ends. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll let it dry. It just seems wise to. When it's dry, I'll snip the thread end. So let me, well, you know what? I'm probably gonna snip them now so we can move on to the next step. But first, let me just show you again what an entire seed bead surround looks like. So there's the entire seed bead surround, and here it is for that wallpaper again. So you can see what that would look like. And that's nice, and that's set in there. So I leave the thread in there. I don't try to yank it out. It's just a nice little stabilizer in there. I am going to trim them just so that we can kind of move on to our next step. So I'm just going to trim them. Okay, and there is our little bezel cup with our little beaded edge. And then that's what it looks like from the back side. Normally I would say, you know, wait for this to dry. I think E6000 says an hour or 2 until it's like workable, and then 24 hours before you wear it or ship it off or anything like that. Okay, so that is done. Now we're gonna make a pretty little dangle. Now these are bell flowers. And these are actually glow in the dark, which is pretty cool. So these are little bell flowers, check glass. So I'm going to be using them. I put a couple other colors in the shopping cart because I think that they're really pretty as little dangles with this particular style of earring. And then we're going to reuse the same beads that we used for the interior. So we're just going to take a ball head pin. We're going to put one of those fire polishes on it, followed by a bellflower, followed by a fire polish, and then a seed bead. So we're just carrying the same beads from our design down into the dangle as well. Okay, and what we'll do now is we're going to take our wire looping pliers and we're going to make a nice little loop with it. Okay, so give yourself a little bit of air. Oh yes, Santa Barbara girl, I saw that too, the hurricane coming. Definitely, I agree. Everyone be safe and take precautions. Okay, so there's our little loop. We'll go in and take our little fine nose, chain nose here. I love it, Santa Barbara girl. I love it. Please keep commenting. This is why we're here. We have fun and we're creative together and we learn things together. It's great. So I'm just slipping that little loop onto the loop of my bezel cup. And again, I would have let this dry fully, but we're not going to do that for time's sake here. So it should be okay though. Okay, I'm going to pinch that loop shut and do some wrappings. But this is a fun earring design because it's a really different look. Oh, you know another thing you can put in these that I've seen that I really like? Button covers, and then you cover them with fabric, and then you set them down into the bezel as well. That's another really interesting look as well. So you can get a fabric pattern into your jewelry, and then you can match your beads to your fabric, which is pretty cool looking. I like that look too, and they're button covers. All right, so here we go. So there's our little bellflower dangle right there, and all we have to do now is add an earring hook. I haven't taken the bellflower into the closet yet. You know, I really should. Actually, I should make like a beaded dangle for my kids' room with them so it glows in the dark. They've got a lot of glow in the dark in their room, so I should definitely do that. Okay, so here is our finished earring design. So that is the finished design with that little bezel, and you can see it's really cute. And you could definitely put some paper on the back as well. And then here it's got this little dangle. And then I want to go back and show everyone that other bezel we were working on with the Mod Podge, because I want to show you how to finish the Mod Podge, and then I'll talk you through the other earrings. I love the button covers. Just buy the button maker too. Oh, I would go crazy with the button maker. That might have to be a Christmas gift for me because I can think of lots of uses for a button maker. All right, so this is actually pretty dry. You can see that the white Mod Podge glue around the edge is now clear. So you're just gonna go back in with your paintbrush again, and you are gonna paint on top of it to seal it. So you're gonna just go on here, and it's gonna look kind of white and milky to begin with. You're gonna go all the way to the edge. And this could be images you print yourself. This could be scrapbook paper. Sometimes I will say, if it's images that you print yourself, the ink can sometimes bleed. Just take that in mind. If you are doing resin with your own images or paper, make sure you use a clear sealant on top of it first before you put the resin, because otherwise it will saturate your paper. And it's not going to look the same. Okay, so here we go. And that's all there is to it. So you just smooth out the Mod Podge, make sure it goes all the way to the side. You would let that dry, and then if you like, you can construct an earring such as this. So I'll walk you through what's in here because we're not going to be able to make this one. So this was a seed bead surround using these. I think these are like galvanized rose gold. They should be there in the shopping cart. So a pretty little rose gold. This was the antique copper bezel. This is what it started like. So we can see how we can really dress it up. So this is before, this is after. This is an SS12 flat back crystal. I think it's tanzanite that I used there. I use these rose gold. The beautiful melon bead. Love, love, love the 8mm melon beads. They're kind of a new obsession. So this was an 8mm melon bead. They also come in a couple colors. There's like this, I think this is like Ethereal Shadows maybe is the other one. So an 8mm melon. I used a Blooming Dahlia 4mm check fire polish round. So that's what the little round bead was. So really pretty. And then just that little rose gold. Hung it all from a head pin. And we were good to go. And that's how I made that one. Oh, that would be neat if you put a penny inside. Oh, I like that. Yeah, think of all the different things you can put inside. You can put so many different things. Even like, I love finding like broken things and then repurposing them. I feel like you could do that. You can do souvenir mementos. Like, how cute would like a metro train ticket from Paris be in here? You know, if you save those things when you travel, or a little concert stub portion you can put in one of here. Like, you can do a lot of different things. I did have fun with the flat backs. I always like flat backs. I just never know what to do with them. So this is the little bigger SS16. And then here is the SS12. So the 12 is the one I put in there. Here's the 16. But they come in such pretty colors and they're so shiny and sparkly. So that's another thing you can do is you can go ahead and put these flat back crystals in them if you want to do that. I'll show you just the 3 designs I have here that I worked up to kind of show samples here. So we've got this one, we've got this one, and then I did go ahead and do a pendant as well. So lots and lots of things you can do with these, and it is kind of nice that they come in such big sets. So if you are making and selling or gift giving, it's really great. All right, I'm gonna put these down. I'm gonna show you the bezels that I have samples of real quick, just in case you wanna see any of those up close again as you're kind of getting ideas of what you might make and do. All right, so here, they got a little scoochied, but you see they come in so many different shapes and sizes. Like you can go get little seashells, like really tiny little seashells, put them in here, do like little collages, paper cutting, lots of fun things. I do think custom gift tags could be awesome too. Put somebody's name in here or something that they like. That would be really sweet and special as well. Ooh, have you made post earrings using flat backs? Oh, I have. We could do a whole show on post earrings sometime. That would be really fun. Thaisa has been great about putting all these ideas into a list, and she keeps updating the list for me. So if she wouldn't mind adding post earrings, that would be great. So yeah, just really cool. So if you get a set of 12 of these little link ones, you can make 6 pairs of earrings. You've got pendants. These could even be earrings. They're not, I don't think they're too big at all. These could be earrings with a little bigger space for you to do the collage work or the imagery as well. Here's a silver one with this like silver rectangle. Yeah, they're really nice. I'm loving these. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with them for the holidays and gifts and things like that. So beautiful bezels, and there are other ones on the website. These are the ones that I had. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip my camera up. This was really fun. This was going back to my first love of jewelry making, of mixed media and bezels, and thinking about like, what can I stick inside a bezel, which is really fun to kind of start looking at the world through that light. Oh, good, Janet, I'm glad. And the video will be on replay if anyone wants to go back and rewatch how to do any of this. Oh, a class on paper beads. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's have Thaisa add that please too to the list, because I am looking at that list as I go and plan things out. Oh, good, Karen. I'm glad you liked it too. Okay, good. Yeah, it was really fun. I think they turned out really neat, and it gives me another reason to buy peel and stick wallpaper, which I adore, and scrapbooking paper and things like that. Oh, good, Linda. Yay. Yeah, this was a different one. This was very different. And you really do create designs that you just can't really get these similar look with any other beading technique without these bezels. So it's really cool. Ooh, 10 to 12 millimeter bead ideas. I like that. Oh, thank you, Ellen. Oh, okay. Is there a way to add something to the outside, like a pretty frame? So if you are going to add anything to the outside, I would probably recommend doing exactly what we did here. I would tie it off though, and I would rerun my thread through it a couple times so it's really anchored. And then I think you would have to glue it. I think you would have to use like E6000 and really just glue it and let it dry fully. And that way you can do it. You can also glue flatback crystals. You could glue to the outside of it as well with the E6000 again. So I think you could do that. I love it. I love these ideas of like, what can you do on the outside? What can you do on the back? Really fun and unique. So cool. I love that. Oh, I like it. Part A, making paper beads. Part B, crafting jewelry with them. Yeah, that's a good idea because you're right. They would have to dry. Definitely the paper beads would have to dry for a while. That's a good idea. Oh, good, Lisa. Yay. Okay. Yeah, have fun, guys. And just think like anything, like honestly, like I did lots of bezels with watch gears, and I loved doing that. Lots and lots of different things you can do with these guys. It's really fun to work with. And I might have to go buy a button maker now because now I want to do the cloth part of it. I think that'll be really fun. All right, let me flip the camera up. Just that reminder, if you have anything in your shopping cart, please make sure you cash out, especially the bezels. They are an incredible deal, and I know once they're gone, they're gone. So if the bezels are something you want to pick up, those are a great, great thing and a great price. Let me flip the camera up. All right. Oh, that was fun. Okay, I'm going to take these off. These are what we made on Thursday. If you missed that class, that was really fun. That replay is available too. I just want to hold these up and show you what they look like from a distance. So there's that little bezel with that little sparkle. And then you could definitely make these into bracelet links as well. So there you go. So yeah, really fun, really easy. Having those loops are really nice. Makes it super easy jewelry making. So that's fun, and just something different, little something different. If you're looking for, ideas to spark your creativity, the bezels are fun. Oh, thank you guys. All right, so there and there. And then I always think the lighting's a little different in each area, so it's kind of nice to show. And then here was this pendant as well. Okay, how do you use, your point? Oh, great question. They do go with my outfit. Thaisa can definitely help with points for sure. And I believe it's service@beadaholique.com. If you can't connect with her right here, she will definitely help you be able to use your points. I think it's a sliding scale during checkout, because when I've done it before, I think it says, do you want to use your points? There's a little sliding scale of how many do you want to use. So that's a nice way of doing it. Thank you guys. All right. I hope you guys are inspired and have fun, and feel free to ask questions again in any other show about this. I'm always happy to help. If you go down the resin rabbit hole and come back with questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer those questions as well. I also have a bunch of YouTube videos on resin for Beadaholique as well. So if you want to check that out, that is available. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you, Lydia. Everyone, have a wonderful rest of the day, and make sure to check out Deb's show tomorrow here on Beadaholique. She is going to do part 2 of our Selling Your Handmade Jewelry series. She's going to focus more on online sales. So definitely check out Deb tomorrow at 10:30, because she is going to be definitely helping with tips and ideas and suggestions. I know she's done a lot of online sales. I've done a lot of in-person sales. So it was kind of a good mix and way of splitting it that way. So definitely check her out as well. I just saw a question about the button maker. I'm going to have to figure it out, because I need to go buy myself a button maker. If I do that and I figure it out and it's easy, I will show it. I think it's just like a compression, and it forms your material or your paper, whatever you're using, around the like an interior disc almost. And then you can take that finished piece and put it into the bezel, as I believe how it's going to work. Santa Barbara girl might know more if she wants to share, but definitely I think that's how you do it. Any tips appreciated? Oh, happy to help. And then if you have troubles finding our videos, we are on YouTube as Beadaholique. I believe we have some playlists like resin. There might be a whole resin playlist as well. So if you want to check that out, but again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I can share just a couple quick ones really quick. Thin layers definitely helps work in a well-ventilated area. Make sure you stir it slowly. Don't whip it. If you whip it, you're going to get bubbles. So stir it very slowly with a popsicle stick. This is my personal approach to it. I know other people might have different ones. This is what's worked for me, so I'll share what's worked for me. After I stir it, I let it sit for 5 minutes. It gets the bubbles out. Yeah, so you definitely, if you let your cup sit for 5 minutes, the bubbles will rise to the surface on their own. You can also get it out with heat or vibration. those are a couple other ways of getting your bubbles out. Slow pours. I then, after I've poured, what I do is I put a piece of, so I pour on like a mat, got all my little pieces, right? All my little bezels. And then what I do is I do my pour, and then I put another like cardboard platform above my resin pieces on like a little pedestal. So I've got like this much space between the bottom and the top. And what that does, because I have to let it cure for a couple days, it prevents dust from coming into my resin pieces. So if you don't do that, sometimes just natural dust will filter down and stick onto your resin tops. So that's just what I like to do. Humidity plays a role, temperature plays a role. You don't want to do it when it's freezing out. You don't want to do it when it's 105 out. I don't actually do it when it's raining. I have troubles with it curing when it's raining. So I tend to just do it on like a nice, normal, dry day. And that's what's been most successful for me. I also, if I'm doing multiple objects being inset into it, I do them in layers. It takes a long time. It takes, maybe 6 days to finish a piece, but I'll do 2 or 3 layers as well. All right, so I'm going to sign off for today. I'm loving these tips. I love it. Thank you guys for sharing your ideas and tips on resin, because it's really fun. It is a fun medium to work with. You can color it, you can embed objects into it, you can dome it. I love doing a bezel with black paint, then a colorful object on top of it, like a gold bee or something like that, and then encased in resin, and then it looks like almost like that object is floating. It's really cool looking because that black just like disappears. But you can do that with white, you can do that with all these different colors, so lots and lots of fun. All right, thanks guys. I loved this one today. This was really fun for me. I felt like I was back like 10-15 years ago playing with it and loved it, and I just kind of reignited my love of these bezels. So I'm having fun with this. I will see everybody on Thursday, and then don't forget to join Deb tomorrow for those selling tips. If you are making and selling jewelry, she is a great resource, and you can ask a lot of questions too. All right, bye everyone, take care. All right, I saw a couple questions, I think. Any tips for tying a 2-strand stretch bracelet? Ooh, so is the 2-strand stretch bracelet where you're kind of going in and out of a bead and then another, like, okay, I'm trying to imagine the 2-strand. So are you tying 2 completely separate bracelets together, or are you doing like a double strand where you're going in and out of anchor beads? Because that will make a difference. Because I think I would want to have some type of anchor bead, because then you can even hide your knots in your anchor beads. So I would probably, if I'm doing 2 strands, whether you have anchor beads throughout or one single anchor bead, I would have at least one shared bead, and I would tie my knots near that bead is what I would do. But now you've got me thinking about how to make 2-strand stretch bracelets easily. So double strand on multiple beads. Okay, yeah, I think you're gonna tie your knots near the shared beads, maybe even pull them into the knots into it as well. But I'm gonna play with that so I can talk a little bit better to it. So let me play with that one a little bit and see what I can come up with. But great question, Debbie. I like that one. All right, guys, I will see you later. Thank you for joining me today. The replay would be available here in just a few minutes. I know, okay, we might do a class on it. Maybe we should do a double strand stretch bracelet class. That'll be fun. All right, bye everyone.